Professional podcast where we talk about people, partnerships, and professionalism. Today, I'm excited to introduce Karen and Lisa from Leukemia Lymphoma Society. And this is our big announcement today. We've been waiting a couple of weeks to be able to announce this, but we are officially community partners. So I'm very excited about that. I know I'm very excited. Thank you for joining me on the show and braving the podcast. I know it's not easy. And it is definitely there are hurdles to get involved. So thank you for taking time to join me on the show today to tell the world and to tell our drivers about our partnership. But I'm very excited to talk about LLS, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and the great work that you are doing and how we as PAX are partnering with you to help get involved with the great work that you're doing. But before we get going and jump in too much to the numbers and the details, I love the stories, the connections of the actual people behind the work. A lot of times when we're looking at partnerships, it kind of gets lost in you just see the logo on the page and going, hey, this organization and this organization. But just with my time on the street and the amount of time it takes to make sure that partnerships are actually effective, it comes down to people. It's so many times the stories behind the networking involved with the partnerships, that it's real people doing real work. And that's part of what this show I'm excited about. This podcast is to be able to show the people who are working so hard, but also the connections. How did it happen? So Karen, before we've been longtime friends, and so that's a little bit of a connection. But I want you to tell the story about how all this took place and how we got connected. If you don't mind, can you jump in and give
Yeah,
us a little a brief recap of how this all got together?
sure. Well, thanks for having us. We're excited to be partnering with you. But how it happened, you're right, Daniel, the people. My husband was under the weather in December, and your wife does mobile IVs. So I called her. She came on over, was doing a mobile IV, and we were just chatting. And I asked what you were up to, and she said that you were working on this project with PAX and really revolutionizing the rideshare service. And so a light bulb went off, and I thought, oh, how can we get involved with LLS and partner together to make a big impact in the community? So it was really that simple. And then I reached out to you, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So my wife came home from that with selfless, shameless plug for West Valley IV. You need an IV,
Yes,
my wife
they're
will come over
amazing.
and
Call
yeah,
them.
and take care of you on the West. If you're on the West Valley IV, check them out there. Then she'll come take care of you. But so she's in home. She travels to your house and was even very excited, like, hey, I get to go see Karen today. And I was excited about that. And then when she got home, she's like, oh my gosh, I got this awesome connection. So we've only been on the ground since February 1st. I mean, we've been working on this project for a couple months now, but we've only been on the ground and providing the service since February 1st. So around the same time, we're also like, hey, we have this great potential to be able to impact on nonprofits, but we're also how do we find these partnerships and how do we find these? And my wife came home and she was super excited, like, hey, Dan, I got this thing set up. Like, can you connect with Karen? I was like, what is Karen doing? Like, I didn't even know your level of involvement. So then we got on a phone call. And, yeah. So the rest, like you said, the rest is history. We started work right away. And that really started, actually, and this is another great benefit to partnerships is I did not know much about the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, but already I've been exposed to a lot of the work that you've been doing. I'm very impressed. I got to go to you invited me to a breakfast that Shelly and I got to attend a week or two ago, and I was overwhelmed. I was blown away by not just the numbers, and we're going to talk about that a little in a minute here. But uh, one of the things that impressed me was everybody in the room, all these leaders from around the valley that were coming together. They're very passionate about what you're doing, but most specifically, your leaders, everybody that got up to speak had a personal connection with LLS. They had a story to tell on in either they were a recipient of the love that LLS is giving to people and the work that they're doing, or they had somebody that they knew that was affected by it. So those stories were very impactful, very overwhelming. I'm very excited to talk about some of those numbers today, but then I also want to talk about your next big event that's coming up in November. So Lisa, can you give us just maybe a 30,000-foot perspective of who LLS is, what you guys do, and then we'll move a little bit into the numbers on what you're doing here in the Valley.
Oh, absolutely. So LLS has actually been around for over 75 years. It was started by the Develier. Make sure I get that pronunciation
Yeah.
correct. My pronunciation there always gets me a little thrown off.
You're good. You're good. You're good. And wait, before you get going, who are you to LLS, Lisa?
Oh,
Yeah, give us
this
an introduction. Yeah, yeah,
we talk about people, and I feel like
yep,
we're long lost friend. Like
yeah,
we've known each other for 20 years at this point. So I'm Lisa Ball. I'm actually the executive director for the desert region of LLS. So I oversee Southern Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico, and El Paso. Similar to many of our employees at LLS, I actually was a volunteer for many years before I made the career change to come work for LLS. So actually, I was in the youth sports industry. I had an athlete who got AML, and we were really looking at ways to make sure the teammates that were there had an opportunity to come together and support him. And really looking for opportunities of how do we explain a blood cancer diagnosis to kids. And we found actually what we're going to talk about in a little bit, Light the Night. And I spent 10 years just with my gym working and going to LLS's Light the Night events, and finally got to a point where I wanted a career change. And I said, you know what? This is where I'm supposed to be. This is where the impact I'm supposed to make. It's time for me to step into the other side of it and give back. So that's really how I ended up at LLS. And again, it's people, and it's a great organization. I will say, fortunately, our athlete did survive and has not relapsed, which statistically with his blood cancer diagnosis, that is not common. And he had no, long lasting effects, which again is not very common in the pediatric space. Typically there's a lot of long lasting effects. So, but over the last 75 years, LLS has really been the global game changer in blood cancer research, advocacy, and patient support. So we really take a 360-degree lens at our patients. So it's not just about finding a cure, which we will, and we are going to find a cure to end blood cancer. But the reality is, if we haven't done our job in our advocacy pillars and making sure that there is access to care, we didn't do our job. So we really focus in on, it's not just about finding the cure, it's about making sure that people can afford to get the treatments, that people have access to the treatments. And then in the meantime, we have patients that are going through it right now. So how do we support them? How do we show up for those families that get a blood cancer diagnosis and feel helpless? And so we get into the micro and the macro scale of how do we support a family. It's how do we support the patient? How do we look at what all the siblings are going through throughout that diagnosis of one of their family members? How do we look at the parents and make sure that they have the support that they need, the caregivers? So really it's this incredible 360-degree approach to tackling blood cancer. And again, like, we will find a cure, but we are also going to make sure that that access to the care is there, and we are supporting people throughout the entire time.
Yeah, so that was actually that's a great reminder. What was another thing I had meant to mention? The amount of work that you guys do to see the individual with the number of people that you have access to helping is impressive. The fact that you're doing this great work. I mean, you're a nationwide organization, but the fact that you do really see the one person and the family members that are around them was impressive. I remember thinking, man, their attention to detail in the lives of the person that's being affected, and not just their life, but the lives that are around them that are being affected. I was just impressed by that. So it's, I mean, not just kudos, thank you for that. It's a huge thing that we need more of in our society. And actually, like, we just need organizations that are thinking about people. And I mean, you see, look around. I mean, we have, and just, I mean, you look at the field that PAX is in, where they're doing everything they can to remove drivers from the equation. It's like, or they're just flat out taking advantage of them. I mean, one of the reasons that I was drawn to PAX was because everyone that's involved sees an opportunity to invest in the people, not just make a business where, you know, we could do things better. We want to help people who want to elevate and be a professional, and to set a higher standard, not just for them but for their customers and for their team. We that takes a team mentality. That takes people who want to care for one another, and watch each other's back, and pick up rides for one another. And it's just a better environment. One of the things that you mentioned, Lisa, was like, hey, it's time for me to make a career switch into something that's better. You know, like, there's so many jobs out there that you can do that's just like go in, punch the clock, and it's like, I'm really working this hard to make somebody else money. Like, it's just like, at the end of the day, how depressing is that, when you could really be about something that has heart, right? And that's really what PAX is trying to do too. Is one of the reasons we are so passionate about community partners is because, just like the fact that I didn't know about LLS before this work began, this is an opportunity that everyone that gets in a PAX car now can know about the work that you're doing, can be exposed to the great work that you guys are doing. So, talk back to numbers about those. You care about the one very, very specifically, and you do that care very well. And I know that just hearing their stories, the impact that you've had on people, whether it's just finance, or whether it's this family, like the mother and daughter, and I don't remember the names, I'm sorry, but the video that her testimony of being plugged into people who cared for her was overwhelming. Like, it's just one of those, like, I'm not crying, it's fine, I'm just, you know, my eyes are just sweating. But at the end of the day, you're like, this is the kind of people we want to partner with, because they're making a positive impact for good with the work that they're choosing to do. And so, thank you again for that. But also, it's just encouraging to hear how intentional you are about the one, but also talk about some of the big numbers. So what are some of the numbers here in the Valley that you're impacting, that you're accomplishing?
So I will give you a really big number, which is the overall impact LLS has had since 1949, and that's over $1.8 billion that has
That's
been
right.
invested.
Yeah.
and
With a B. Yeah.
with a B, that was
Yeah.
billion. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Billion.
Yeah.
And I love that you actually even mentioned our National Light the Night Honored Hero, Sophia. I will say, even as individuals who work in this space every single day, ironically, Karen and I were sitting next to each other at another event yesterday, playing that same video. And I look over, Karen is in tears, I'm in
Yeah.
tears, and we have seen that video probably at least a dozen times. So,
So,
the
where can people are going to want
lost
to see
on
that
us.
video? Where can people see that video? Because I want to tell people about that. So, where they can find that at Light the Night, or what's that website for where they can see that video?
I
So
don't
Karen,
have it at the tip of my fingers, so I'm going to have to give
Okay.
you a link.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a minute.
all
I'll
right,
keep talking about it.
Okay.
While you
yeah,
look for
as Karen's
it.
looking
So,
through that, I'll give you some impact numbers.
okay.
Just on last year, what we were able to do in Arizona alone. So in Arizona alone, we actually were just in this past year able to grant 586 grants to patients throughout copay assistance. So that's really us looking at how do we help offset some of the medical expenses for patients. We had over 1,000 grants, financial assistance programs, and patient education services, which, again, those patient education services that we offer are free of charge.
Oh, I think I'm losing you. Uh, Karen, are you hearing her?
Yeah,
To
I
it being
cannot
free
hear
of charge.
Lisa now.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, back up about 1 minute. I think your internet dropped out a little bit there. Go ahead. You're good. I'll clip that in the editing. You're totally good. It's
okay.
hazards of the live. You're fine. You're totally fine. So go ahead. No, go ahead. You're totally fine. Back up 1 minute though, and tell us back to the numbers. Try that again.
Okay, perfect. Well, that gives me a little
Breather. Yeah. Yeah.
breather.
Yep.
So great thing in Arizona, lots of phenomenal work happening. And so just last year alone, we were actually able to award 586 grants to Arizona patients through our copay assistance program, really focusing in on helping offset some of those medical expenses and high skyrocketing medical expenses a cancer patient faces. We were able to give over 1,000 grants to patient financial assistance programs and provide education and services to almost 2,000 patients and caregivers. So one great thing that we do is everything that we do in our patient education services is free of charge to patients. So we are really focused in on how do we get the most up-to-date, current, help them walk them through their journey free of charge. Let's not add to the financial burdens that they're already facing. And as a result, more than 3.5 million was awarded to patients in Arizona alone last year. So
Oh my gosh.
I will tell you, our team is doing everything we can to make sure that the burden that cancer patients face, how do we help get them through that? How do we show up for them? And quite frankly, that's done through people like PAX. That's done through individuals writing in PAX that are saying, you know what, I'm going to make a difference in people's lives. I will say Karen, myself, the rest of our Desert Region team, and the rest of the LLS team as a whole, we are the conduit. But the reality is it's the impact in the community that truly makes us be able to put these numbers on the board. It's people like you that are stepping up, businesses like yours that are stepping up and saying, you know what, we have to do better in our community. We have to show up for people when they need us the most. So that's really what we have been focused in on. And I will say, through the Arizona fundraising efforts, we've been able to have an impact just last year alone of almost $1.2 million in blood cancer research impact.
Oh my gosh.
So again,
Man, that's no small impact. Those are massive numbers. No, and I love that you mentioned that. That's truly what we want the PAX brand to represent. Is PAX in Latin means peace. We want to bring that peace of mind, not just to the ride service, but like peace to people's lives. Like, but we want people to know that, like, hey, when I put somebody in a car, yeah, like my financial dollars aren't being sucked out and put in Silicon Valley. I'm keeping that money here locally, but also the money here, I know that it's going to a good cause. Like, it's helping good people do good things. Like, so that's part of the brand that we want to create. Thank you for mentioning that. Karen, speaking about the service, you've taken several PAX rides.
Yeah.
Give us an update. How are we doing? Give us a review. What do you think of the PAX?
It was an amazing experience. I've taken it too, and I promote it to everybody. I'm like, no, don't take an Uber, take a PAX. So I'm bringing you more riders, but
I
it
love
was
it.
an amazing experience. And it's funny because I was so nervous I live so far away from the airport, right? So on my way home, where I needed my ride to bring me home, my flight was delayed an hour. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm keeping this poor guy. He's sitting there waiting for me. I'm texting him from the plane. I'm like, I can't control this. But he said, don't you worry at all. We are here for you. It's super simple. Waiting, no problem. It was just peace of mind was exactly what I felt,
I
because
love
I
that.
felt guilty because I live so far away and that he's, waiting for me when he could be taking other driver or other riders. But
Well,
it was an amazing experience. Both drivers were so polite, so kind, so genuinely, really cared about me and my comfort. And it was so revolutionary. So loved it.
I love that. That's a great review. I'm gonna go back and find out who your driver was. I'm gonna give
Danny.
him a high five. Oh, Danny, yeah, everybody loves
Yeah.
Danny. So that's another thing. Yeah, Danny's awesome. Danny is he is the heartbeat of not just having a heart for the drivers and for our passengers, but really PAX was his name. He came up with PAX when we so like his whole idea of treating drivers fairly. He's the real deal. He's 100%
Yeah.
genuine,
He's amazing.
and yeah, so he's an amazing individual. But that's the heart that we want all of our professional drivers to have, is getting them to we don't employ drivers at PAX. We look for professional drivers that have their own business and are working really hard, and they have that heart and that mind, the mentality to be an impact in society and in this network and team of drivers that we're building, because when you have that, it's it's more often caught than taught, is what I've heard. It's way easier for your teammates to see an example and want to emulate that, much more than it is to go, hey, you should do A, B, and C. You should be good at these things. You should be doing these things. You can teach somebody, but when you see them doing it in real life, it's that kind of influence is caught a lot of times. And so Danny's
Mhm.
a great influence. He's one of the guys that and that's also one of the reasons that he's one of our most requested drivers, because he's out there, and people feel that every time they're riding with him. That's really good. I love that. So Danny, huge shout out to you, my man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, and I'll add to that too, Daniel. One of the things that I really like about PAX that sets you apart from everybody else is the ability to, because we travel a fair amount, the ability to request the same driver every time. That is really special, to develop a relationship, to know that you could trust them. I think that that's a really unique and special feature.
Yeah, and that's another angle that we're trying to elevate these drivers in a way that goes, hey, this is your business. Just use PAX to build it. We want to bring you the camaraderie, the team, but we want to give you the right tool to help you build exactly what you need. It's the fishing pole to go out and build your business, get regular clients, no matter who gets in your car. Give them, they each get a specific QR code that now they have business cards that they can hand out and go, hey, if you ever want to ride again, ride with me. So that you can have your own personal driver at the same cost as our competing apps. It's the same cost or more affordable in a lot of cases, most cases, where you get to form that relationship. And every time you take a PAX, it's peace of mind, but also you can choose to benefit great organizations like LLS. So any last, I do want to talk, that's enough about PAX. I want to talk more last, but we're at the 21-minute mark. So we got about 9 more minutes for this show, but I want to talk a little bit about the Light the Night experience, because I know that's coming up in November. And there's another opportunity where if you have, this isn't just for individuals, this is where you can talk to your organization, your company, and you can show the LLS website, but also the Light the Night, the exposure to what LLS does. And I'll let you guys talk about it because you're going to pitch a lot better than I. But they have um, the night itself is a celebration, really, in a lot of ways, where it just bringing light to this dark night. And it's just a really great experience, and you can get your entire organization involved in several different tiers. So I'll let you go ahead and pitch that. Light the Night. Talk about that for a minute. I don't care who does it. You want to do it, Lisa?
I was going to say, well, I will be honest. Karen is the expert in Light
Okay.
the Night. She is the leader in our region. I will tell you, Light the Night is, as again, somebody who was an entrepreneur before coming to work for LLS. My business was very philanthropically involved in a lot of different organizations, and Light the Night is an experience and a walk like no other. So I will throw it over to Karen, and she's
Yeah.
going to talk about the incredible work that her and her team are
Yeah,
doing to
no,
enhance.
absolutely. It is a really special night. And like Daniel mentioned, there's an opportunity to get involved on a corporate level, as an individual, as a family, as a school. There are so many ways to get involved, and we're happy to help plug people in to what makes sense. But really, Light the Night is taking place in Mesa at the Sloan Park, the spring training facility for the Chicago Cubs, on November the 9th this year. And it's a celebration of hope. It's genuinely a beautiful evening. It's at night, obviously. Light the Night. We bring light to the darkness of cancer. And everyone who attends is holding a lantern, and there's 3 different color lanterns. And if you're holding a red lantern, you're indicating that you're a community supporter who wants to bring an end to cancer, all cancers. If you're holding a gold lantern, you're walking in memory of somebody that was lost to cancer. And if you're holding a white lantern, you are, excuse me, I get all choked up just talking about it. You are a survivor, or you're somebody who's currently in the battle against cancer. And it's so special to see our survivors and our friends and family members who are carrying white and gold lanterns feel supported, feel the care of the community as they all come together. And the lit lanterns walking around the stadium We have a program that starts in, part of the way through, and then we take a short walk. It is not an endurance walk. Join us in any, for any capacity. If you are struggling to walk, you're welcome, and you can join us too. It's not an endurance walk. It's really about coming together as a community and providing support for people battling cancer or who've been impacted by
Mm.
cancer. And it's a beautiful night.
Yeah, there's also a video that goes along with that I got that again as right to the heart, man. I
Yeah.
was like, I got me to cry twice at this breakfast I was at. It was crazy. Yeah, but it's a really great way to inspire your coworkers and your business
Yes.
even to have a heart and a mind to give back to community and to be conscious about those things. So LLS is doing great work. You know, for people individually, but also getting people to have a heart and mind to give back in those ways. And now it's as easy to give back to them as taking a PAX ride. If you ride share, you should move to ride service, because that's what PAX is. We serve our passengers, we serve our community, and we serve one another. That's what makes us great. So you can go check out the Light the Night event that's happening in November. It's not too early to start planning for that and talking about that. Go to www.lightthennight.org/events/greater Phoenix. And so that's you can we'll put that in the description of the edited video, so you can get that a direct link to that. I'll also include the video that we've been talking about. What was her name again?
Sophia.
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 She's our
So because
national honored hero and
oh my
5 years
gosh,
old. She's a bundle of joy, and
she's a
she's still
doll.
in the battle.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed in 2023 and continues to be in treatment. So we are rallying behind her. There are opportunities, as Daniel mentioned, for sponsorship, for corporate teams to come together, community engagement, fundraise on behalf of LLS, and all of those funds, friends and family teams. There's lots of ways to get involved. But all of those funds go directly to the work and the impact that we're making in the community in Arizona and also nationwide, as Lisa mentioned.
Awesome. Well, you guys, I cannot thank you enough for joining me on today's podcast. I will send you all of the social media stuff for this. I would love to get the word out about LLS and our partnership with you guys. I'm very excited to announce that today. That's really excited to see that now every time somebody takes a ride, they can benefit LLS, which will again is just helping good people do good things. And so I love that. Thank you guys for not just joining me today, but also for the hard work that you guys are dedicating yourselves to, and the impact and the lives that you are changing because of that. So thank you for joining me today. Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, LLS.org is another website you can go check out if you would like to go know more about what they do, or even if you want to make a change, kind of like Lisa did, and you're looking for a career change, go get involved with LLS. There's plenty of work and help to be done over there as well. So thank you guys again. Thank you for joining me for the show. That's all we got. Hopefully this will start to spread some wings and let people know of our partnership.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Hey, have a great day.
Thank you.